tonight on Evening. Best Northwest Escapes Reveal Week continues.
I'm St. Brian in Okanagan County with your winner for Best Mountain Resort. It takes a while to get out here, but when you're out here, you are out here.
Plus,
hey, it's me, Ciscoe Morris. I'm gonna show you how to pot up a tomato. You ready, little guy?
Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Jose Cedeño, and tonight I'm revealing more of Best Northwest Escapes winners, including that one right there, the Salish Lodge and Spa, which is your pick for Best Romantic Getaway. And here is why.
Welcome to Salish Lodge and Spa, 25 miles from Seattle, but you feel a world away. Thousands and thousands of visitors coming here just to Salish Lodge and Spa to relax, rewind, have the most romantic experience ever possible. It's our joy to greet couples and take care of whatever they need. What we're most excited about now is we also have an incredible lounge at the lodge, just located right in the lobby. So you may remember there used to be a giant gift shop here at Salish Lodge and Spa. Don't worry, we still have it. Any time of year you can come enjoy honey from heaven, a tradition since 1916, where we drizzle that amazing honey from our own apiaries right across the street, and we place that right on your biscuit.
And there's that for you guys.
All right, Jose, welcome to our amazing patio king room.
Wow. Is that real pedals right here?
Of course, our amazing team does this by hand each and every single day. Providing the champagne, nothing says romance like this.
Yeah, that's a winner.
Each and every guest enjoys their own private gas fireplace that is lit for them every evening by our fire pit concierge. Most of all, thank you so much to our guests for voting for us.
By the way, they do also live music on weekends in their lounge. We're gonna have that schedule on our website, king5evening.com. Now let's move from this category to the next one. It's Best Mountain Resort. Ooh, that sounds like a fun road trip. Here's Saint with the winner.
Yeah, your winner is Sun Mountain Lodge, a place to experience the Wild West in comfort.
A 4-hour drive from Seattle can take you back well over 100 years in time, when everything in the shadow of Sun Mountain was ranchland, mines, and forests, all connected by horse trails. Echoes of that past still exist at Sun Mountain Lodge, founded in 1968, and now a bigger and better experience than ever. Tim Johnson is general manager.
We're in the sun, we're on the top of a mountain, and there's just an amazing abundance of activities and adventures to do while you're here.
But first, you will need to decide where to stay. In the main lodge, where Floyd the Buffalo guards the lobby, you'll find luxurious mountaintop rooms. Most look out on the valley. Some come with jetted tubs and private balconies.
There's not a lot of hospitality product like we have here.
The resort also offers lakeside cabins, 10 in all, and typically priced lower than lodge rooms, which makes them especially popular among families.
Romantic weekends are great and family weekends are great. We're just kind of a little bit of all things to all people.
Among the summer activities Sun Mountain Lodge offers, you can go hiking on trails that take you from the valley floor to the mountaintop. There are 40 miles of mountain biking trails and guided fly fishing excursions. There's a petting zoo featuring baby goats.
What is this one's name?
This is Happy.
Happy.
And perhaps best of all, horseback riding.
There's never a bad day working with horses.
Heather Johnson wants guests to appreciate horses.
A lot of it for us is learning about horses and understanding them, just because they outweigh us by hundreds of pounds. And it's really an amazing connection that these horses let us do these things.
Sun Mountain has become an especially popular wedding destination, with 8 venues available, including the Bluff with its dramatic backdrop, and sometimes uninvited dear friends.
We have 2 weddings this weekend, every weekend now from pretty much now until October.
Inside the lodge, there's a game room and a dining room with spectacular views, as well as delicious meals like this fettuccine with ramp pesto.
Even though we've been here for a long time, you can rediscover Sun Mountain in a new way.
At Sun Mountain Lodge, luxury meets 3,000 acres of adventure.
Thank you, Saint. Sun Mountain Lodge opens all year round, catering for visitors that like to do cross-country skiing and ice fishing in winters. We'll be right back.
Up next, Ciscoe Morris shares tips for growing tasty tomatoes in a pot.
Woo, mama!
And later, an Escapes winner that makes an iconic Northwest treat. Best Northwest Escapes is sponsored by unforgettable Grays Harbor County.
Wow!
Local stories make a difference.
I want to check that out.
With the power to enrich lives, strengthen communities, and make us smile. Evening is made possible by Primera Blue Cross. Primera Blue Cross, always in your corner.
Welcome back to the show. I'm revealing more Best Northwest Escapes winners. The next one is your pick for Best Island, and the winner is Whidbey Island. Here are 3 spots you must visit.
It's been a part of Whidbey Island history for well over a century.
So this is the Green Bank Farm on Whidbey Island. We're right in the middle of the island in the skinniest point. This whole farm started at pretty much the turn of the century, 1904. And it was started as a dairy farm. Then new ownership took over and they decided to plant loganberries just on a whim to see how they would do, and they thrived. So by the 50s, it was the largest loganberry farm in the United States. By the 70s, they say in the world.
Today, Green Bank Farm has become a must-stop for both locals and visitors alike.
So there's 5 kilometers of hiking trails that are cut up into the hillside. We've got an art gallery that's really great called Fire of the Heart Art Gallery. We've got a couple of food options. There's the Old Spots Bistro, which is a sit-down soups, sandwiches, salads. We've got the cheese shop.
And you can pair those cheeses with wines at Holly's Wine Shop.
Cheers.
People come back every year. Even if they don't live here on Whidbey Island, they make a trip back every year. And we get to see the same customers year after year. It's really, really beautiful.
If you believe breakfast is a good time any time of the day, we know just the place for you.
This is Freeland Cafe. We serve what a lot of people call comfort food, family food, a lot of family dining. The original owners started in the middle 1970s. We haven't made a lot of changes because the cafe has a pretty big local following.
One of those unchanged items is their version of Loco Moco.
It's a rice dish with a beef patty served on top with 2 eggs the way you like them, with a house-made brown gravy spread over the top, chicken fried steak that's hand-breaded here with homemade, gravy from scratch. That's really, really popular.
And after 50 years, Freeland Cafe is still popular too. Looking for a place to stay? Then look no further than Captain Whidbey Inn.
It was originally made as an inn. Judd Still was the original, bought the land, created the inn that you see behind us here.
Inside, guests are immediately taken back in time, with many of its original features still standing.
We have different cabins from Filson, edit cabins, and they're all done uniquely by themselves. Our lodge rooms are the historical rooms with shared bathrooms in the hallways and kind of just that more historical 1907 feel to it.
History and hospitality, 2 things that keep guests at Captain Whidbey Inn wanting to come back again and again.
They love it. They absolutely love it.
Alrighty, fun fact, Whidbey Island is the largest island in Washington State. That's gonna be 30 miles long and 10 miles wide. Now let's go to our buddy and gardener, Ciscoe Morris, because he has some tips on how to grow tasty tomatoes, even though you don't have a lot of space for it.
Hey, all you gardening cats and gators, I'm gonna show you how to plant a tomato in a pot. You don't just throw it in the pot and leave it alone. These guys are hungry and thirsty, so there's a few things you can do and you'll be eating tomatoes all summer long. So before I stick it in there, you've got to add some extra calcium. So this is bone meal. This is fish bone meal. This stuff has a fair amount of nutrition, but it breaks down really slow, so you still have to use other fertilizer. Work that in real good. It's not enough just to put the bone meal in there. You need some tomato food, and I always go organic. I usually use about a whole handful in there, and I don't have the biggest hand of anyone I've ever met, but I want to make sure there's plenty of nutrition in there to get this tomato off to a really good start. I think that's pretty darn good. Okay, little guy, you're gonna love your new home, and you're gonna eat well too. All right, so now I always break the roots up a little bit. There we go. Putting the plant in the middle of the pot, and always ends up on one side or the other. Of course, you're gonna want this in the sunniest spot. You want sun all day long on a tomato, otherwise you're not gonna get much fruit. This tomato is gonna grow tall. So I like these little tomato cages because you can actually fit them in a pot like this. Get in there, tiger. This is pretty flimsy, let's face it. So what you gotta do is find something that you can use to stake them. Wire this in so that there's no way it can let go. In a month, you wanna start using a good organic fertilizer where the second number is higher than the first one. And do it every 2 weeks for the rest of summer. And woo, mama, you're gonna be eating so many tomatoes, you can't believe it. Make sure you water that in good. Okay, little guy. Now, I have a happy little tomato that is going to produce like mad in a pot. What could be better than that?
Thank you, Ciscoe. That tomato plant is called Sun Gold, and apparently it's one of the easiest ones to grow. Ooh la la! I really need to work on that.
Up next, it's Copper River salmon season. Tom Douglas will show you the only way to cook it. And later, your pick for best roadside attraction. This month's Ciscoe segment sponsored by Dram, the professional's choice for lawn and garden.
What a beautiful day at Snoqualmie Falls. Welcome back to the show where we keep revealing the best Northwest winners. Our next category is your pick for best treat stop. It's a place that has been keeping things sweet for over a century in Tacoma.
This river of molten toffee is Almond Roca, being born.
From this hot liquid product all the way through the chocolate enrober, it gets completely covered in almonds, and then it goes through our 8 custom-made Italian wrapping machines that wrap it over 400 pieces per minute, each one of them.
It flows from a vintage building in Tacoma that produces a countless amount of candy.
We make over 3 million pieces every single day in this, the one and only factory that makes Roca in the world here in Washington State.
This place has been churning out the sweet stuff ever since Harry Brown and J.C. Haley bought it in 1918 to house their growing candy business.
This thing that they built together, it's pretty amazing. And it's still sitting right here, you know.
Brown and Haley's Almond Roca is sold in more than 65 countries, thanks to its location in Tacoma.
Where we are right now is so crucial to how we've lasted over 100 years.
A factory close to Fort Lewis and the Port of Tacoma meant these pink tins traveled to the Pacific Front during World War II.
And because our candy was able to travel in airtight tins, we had a contract with the U.S. government for our candy to be used by our soldiers overseas.
Today, Almond Roca is worldwide, But they make another candy here that's only available in the Northwest, the Mountain Bar, which has been around since 1923.
And because it's not easy to find, it is actually our #1 selling item on our website.
Mount Rainier's on the wrapper, and your favorite flavor may be a tell for which side of the mountain you live on.
The #1 selling Mountain Bar is the peanut butter. But if you go east of the mountain to Spokane area, the #1 flavor, bar none, is cherry.
Right next door, more history. The factory store was part of the 1962 World's Fair. Elvis was actually in this building. Brown and Haley recently updated some machinery, but that almond roca recipe is the same one from a century ago. The folks behind this Made in Washington candy know it's their job to keep it tasty, just like it always has, and to keep it coming.
We get the honor of making almond roca still, and the public really owns the brand. When it's lasted this long, it's one of those things where we're just kind of the caretaker for it.
A little tip, if you want to get almond roca at a discounted price, you can check out one of the outlet stores. From sweets, let's move to food talk, because Cooper River salmon is available at fish markets across the Northwest. But if you're not sure how to cook it, Chef Tom Douglas is here to help.
I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to buy the best salmon and then to grill it correctly on my favorite grill. First of all, when you go to the grocery store, you're going to see many of these, right? The big fillets sitting in the fish counter. When I look at the fish fillet, I think to myself, okay, what's going to be the fattiest part of the fish, which is the belly part right here. So when I buy, I like to buy from the collar end down this way, all the way to the tail end. Other people like it a little bit leaner and a little firmer. You know, the tail is what does all the work when the fish is swimming. So this is going to be lean and firm. This is going to be a little softer and fattier. I like to cook salmon lots of different ways, either whole in the round or most often in the fillet. So I'll cut the tail off. We'll save that for, in my restaurants, we save that for smoking. To make a salmon roast, it looks so beautiful on the table. You just simply cut a nice chunk of the salmon. I tend to leave the skin on because you can see the fat line right here in the salmon. There's tons of good fat that the skin offers to the fish. Then if you want just fillets, I'll go right up here and I'll cut maybe a 6 or 8 ounce fillet for each person having dinner. Many of you know I have a line of spice rubs out there. That's the easiest thing to do, is just grab one of these spice rubs and sprinkle it on the fish. This is beautiful Copper River King. The other way to do it, most likely, probably for some of you, is just salt and pepper. And this Copper River has so much fat in it, you don't really need to add any other fat onto it. If you insist, if your grill's kind of chunky and not in the best shape, maybe add just a little bit of olive oil to your fish. All right, let's cook these guys. Just like a meat roast, on a fish roast, you want to use a digital thermometer to check the middle. 120 to 125 in the middle gives you a medium to medium rare, a little translucent center, and of course a sturdy pair of tongs. So we're going to go right in here with the roast on medium heat, right? We got a long time to cook this fish. On the little fillet, it's going to cook quickly. We'll put that on higher heat. You can hear the difference in the sizzle. And with fish on the grill, you really have to not fuss around with it. Turn it once and once only. So see a nice char that we got on there? Those look good. So 120, 125, you want to pull it off. Right now, we are perfect.
It fried 200 pounds of clams, and now it's a photo op. Your pick for best roadside attraction coming up. Now in our 39th season, Evening shares local stories that make our community shine. Thanks to support from PEMCO Insurance. PEMCO empowers the Northwest to prevent the preventable. Learn how at PEMCO.com.
Welcome back to the show. What do we got here?
All right, we've got honey from heaven, a tradition here at Salish Lodge since 1916.
Wow.
It's supposed to represent the Snoqualmie Falls, which are 268 feet tall.
Thank you very much. Well, we keep revealing the best Northwest Capes winners, and our next category is going to be Best Roadside Attraction. You will find it right next to the giant Racer Clam in Long Beach. the world's largest frying pan. The pan that weighed 1,300 pounds was created back in 1941. Believe it or not, in the past, they used this thing to cook 200 pounds of clams. Sadly, the original pan rusted away. This one is made out of fiberglass. The handle is the original. As for the claim of the world's largest, well, today other bigger pans exist. But let's make it real. Did they use it for real cooking? Now that's special. Well, that does it for me, but I do want to say thank you to the Sailors Lodge and Spa for hosting us tonight. And remember, we're going to have more winners tomorrow. So until next time, and let me enjoy this thing.